AITA for not giving up my second free seat next to me in the plane? I am obese. Like I am comfortable having 2 seats in the plane type of obese. I am well aware of that and I really don't like to bother people with my weight. A week ago I was going to a conference by plane and because I was going alone, usually when I fly with my boyfriend I don't buy 2 since he sits next to me, I bought 2 seats. I fit in one but my side is usually touching the person next to me and I feel uncomfortable for them. It happened to me that they gave me nasty looks and I felt extremely uncomfortable the whole flight. So I sat down in the plane and put the armrest up so I would be really comfortable. Some couple came and they both sat next to me because they got separate seats and they noticed the seat next to me was empty. Exactly what I was afraid of happened. My side kept touching the guy next to me and he even pushed me a bit when he moved in the seat. I was feeling extremely uncomfortable and asked him if he could go to his seat because I bought this one for my comfort. He told me no, since the seat is empty and he wants to be with his girlfriend. Well, I told him I understand but I feel uncomfortable and I paid for the second seat so exactly this doesn't happen. He refused again and started to chat with his GF. I called the flight attendant and quietly told her what is happening. She asked the guy to leave my second seat and he and his GF gave me a nasty look. The GF mumbled something like fucking fat bitch under her breath but nothing directly to me. So am I the asshole for insisting on him to leave? NTA former flight attendant. It's your seat. You paid for it. If that classless couple wanted to sit together that badly, they should have paid for seats together. I must point out the flight attendant was absolute sweetheart. Very kind and understanding. She was also giving me the belt extension and when I apologized to her, she told me not to worry about it and it was overall very pleasant situation to talk to her. NTA. If it happens again, don't let them sit down. Block the extra seat and state immediately, I paid for 2 seats. This one is not available. NTA. It doesn't matter why you purchased that seat. You could have bought it for the spirits of your ancestors so they could guide you safely to your destination and it would have been no one's business but yours. Sorry this happened. NTA. You bought that seat. The couple sitting apart has nothing to do with you. IDGAF if you were thin and bought a second seat for your emotional support ghost. That's your seat. Be civil. This lady calling Op a bitch doesn't mean you get to call her one, or any other insult. Also Op didn't ask you about your opinion about their size, or for diet tips. Not every thought that pops into your mind is worth posting. Please review our FAQ if you're unsure what that means. NTA. They tried to take something you paid for and then were rude to you. It's a bit shocking, really, considering the number of people who comment on social media that larger people should have to buy 2 seats. Please don't feel bad about yourself because they chose to be horrid and entitled. I must say I flew several times with just 1 seat since there were not 2 available and I always apologized to the person next to me and it was never an issue. They were usually nice and told me not to worry about it. NTA. It wasn't a free available seat. You purchased it, you bought the seat so it is occupied. NTA. You paid for that seat, it's your seat and frankly airplane seats are too small. I was on a flight last week, I bought it last minute and ended up with a center seat in the basic cabin. The cheap seats on United flights at least on this plane don't have movable armrests. My hips hit both armrests, read walls, it was very uncomfortable. I wear a women's 10/12. After that experience I will always buy 2 seats if I'm in the back or at least never settle for less than business class. Well, I am way bigger than regular adult woman, by my own fault I must say, which is shameful. But I totally see your point. It's so small and my knees were hurting from the plane. Also the flight was really long. I was coming from Europe to USA. You are completely in the right. They were the awe. You did everything you could to accommodate the people around you, and make the flight more comfortable yourself. Transatlantic flights are grueling. You're awesome. Any normal person would have said, I'm sorry I didn't know you'd paid for that seat, and then moved. By my own fault I must say, which is shameful. No, it's not, hun. I'm a very small woman both in height and weight, XS size, and still find the regular plane seats way too small to be comfortable, especially on the front side for the knees. And the longer the flight the more uncomfortable they get. And it's because airlines are trying to make more money per flight, so instead of fitting only 2 seats they put 3. Or instead of having X amount of rows of seats they add a few extra rows and leave a few at a normal distance which they sell as extra legroom. There's nothing to be ashamed of about your size or decision to buy an extra seat. You were considerate both towards you and your neighboring passengers. The only assholes are the two who didn't get their seats together from the get-go and felt entitled on your comfort seat. Next time put your purse on the comfort seat at least temporarily till the flight takes off, or a light coat to physically fully claim it so you don't have to deal with BS like this. Edit. A scarf will also work. Do you see how many of us are rallying to say you should not feel shame? Of course it's not that easy for you to believe it, any more than it's easy for you to think yourself thin. But it's still true. I track my calories very carefully, and I eat around 1800 calories a day. I don't drink soda or any sweetened beverages, and I only drink alcohol at holiday parties. I am extremely active. I ride a bike for 15 to 20 miles or I hike for 5 to 10 every weekend, and I move as much as I can with a desk job, making sure I get my 10K steps every day. I'm awesome, right? Nothing to be ashamed of? I'm still borderline obese, and if I'm in a middle seat, some part of me is touching someone else. Maybe you and I are just people, and maybe this is just what we're shaped like. As long as we can do the things we want to do, maybe we're okay. Thank you for this post. I am ashamed of my body. I am not gonna deny that. But to be honest, I consider my value elsewhere anyway. I work in hospital within oncology department and my job helps people to feel less pain and live better quality life. So that's where I see my worth. I don't want it to sound like bragging and patting myself on the back. I hope it doesn't. I feel like you are allowed to brag a little when you do such important work, so here, I'll pat you on the back. Then definitely NTA. Europe to US is a long flight and you paid for it. I'm sorry you had such a bad experience. They sound like jerks.